And behold, the word of Yahuwah came unto him, saying, This shall not be your heir, but he that shall come forth out of your own generation shall be your heir. And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now towards the heavens and count the stars, if you are able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall your seed be. And he believed in Yahuwah, and he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am Yahuwah that brought you out of Ur of the Kasdim to give you this land to inherit. And I will establish my oath between me and you and your seed after you in the generations for an everlasting agreement, to be Elohim unto you and to your seed after you. Now Yahuwah said unto Abram, Get you out of your country and from your kindred and from your father's house unto a land that I will show you, and I will make you a great nation, and I will Baruk you and make your name great, and you shall be a Barukah, and I will Baruk them that Baruk you, and curse them that curse you. And in you shall all families of the earth be Baruked. So Abram departed as Yahuwah had spoken unto him. Baruk Yahuah. Hey, Shalom, Mishpaka, Shabbat, Shalom. This is Watchman Yirmiyahu, the Qadashayam of Yasharal. We're on for part 3 of Yubalym, what they call Jubilees. So we did, the first video was on chapters 1 through 5, then we did 6 through 10, and this is going to be 11 through 15. And you know, these videos do cover a lot of different subjects in one assembly, one session, so it's a little bit difficult sometimes to name them, but I just try to follow what the Ruach of Yahuwah calls me to do, what stands out. And so for this one, you'll see the background is like when Abraham was fellowshipping with the Most High Yahuwah, and he told them to number the stars if he was able to, that he was going to make his seed as vast as the stars in the Shemayim, or heavens. So, children of the promise. And you know, the other thing, guys, like, these scripts are amazing, so powerful, so insightful. We get to see dates of when things happen. If you missed the other parts, please go back. The link to the YouTube channel, or go to the YouTube channel, and there's a playlist for Yubalym or Jubilees. The first one was a lot about the Garden of Eden, and then the second one like about the Tower of Babel, and now we have some stuff about Abram, who became Abraham actually. So Baruk Yahuwah. Yeah, go back and check those things out if you missed them. As always, I am live in the TikTok right now. This video will go on to the YouTube when it's finished. But if you're in here, you're in the live, please double tap the screen, share the live. If you have questions, you can type those there, and I'll do my best to try to answer them. Just please know I'm also going to be reading 5 chapters of scripture with you guys right now. And then my email is in the description of every YouTube video. So if you're watching this on YouTube, or you want to email me a question, the email is there, and it's also in my bio in the link tree. So jdbull15@aol.com is the email. You can email questions, prayer requests, praise reports, advice, encouragement. If you have a lot of people have little opinions, and that's great. And sometimes, you know, that helps us. So do that. Also, I'm very big on the calendar on Yahuwah's Moedim. I want to just show you really quick if I could just change the background. And yeah, I know it's not going to fit perfect, so don't freak out. But so this is what our calendar for the 10th month looks like. It's actually beginning tomorrow is the first day of the 10th month. And you see right here, I have marked out when the new moon is. Okay, so this is actually, this line means it's Saturday, and this means it's Sunday. This means like, you know, I'm not working in my normal taskmaster type job. But we do work heartily 6 days. We've literally only rest this 7th day, which is what today is. Today's the pagan day, December 11th, 2024. And so if you notice, we have the full moon. This is the first full moon of the 10th month, which is significant because it marks out she is a sign for a new season. So the very next day is the new moon day. And so that's going to be the beginning of winter. Okay. If you're interested in these things, you can email me for a free copy of the calendar. You can also see the playlist calendar that's on the YouTube channel. And if you have questions, you can email me. Hey Diane, Shalom, sis. Look, it's so great to see you in here on time. I'm sorry, last couple weeks I started early, but I hope you were able to catch it on the YouTube channel. And Shabbat Shalom Mishpaka to everyone who's in here. It's great to be with you guys and see you guys. Hey Damon, how you doing? Aki, Baruk Yahuah, great to see you. I wanted to try and take a moment to answer any questions that might arise, but if you do have them moving forward, I'll also look for those. Oh, not yet, but you will. Okay, I really do hope you do. I think you're going to find it to be meat. There's a lot of substantive stuff in there, and I'm so excited about Yubalym, the way we're being given dates. When it says it was the 30th Jubilee, we know that's basically 30 times 50. And then it'll say it was the 3rd week, which that week represents 7 years. So I'm still a little bit torn about, okay, do I do 30 times 50 plus 21? Or since it says it was the 3rd year of the 3rd week, is it 2 weeks completed and then 3 years? And it gets a little deep. But it gives us a timeline, and we can start to gauge how long in between this and that. You know, how far from the day of creation to the fall at the Tower of Babel. You know, just like we saw about Cain and Abel. Well, how long before they were born? They're not twins. A lot of people think that they're twins, but in Yubalym we clearly see that they were already outside of the garden for 7 years before she even had the first one. And then 7 years later, she had the second. It's not the serpent, that's the father. This is just Gnostic lies. Adam is the father. And you know, and Adam is the father of both, and they're not twins. So, you know, and also keep in mind too, like, they were making their sacrifices like on Shabuot. That's a really huge feast for us, family. That's a rededication of our agreement, our oath to be his bride, right? So it's a wedding anniversary, guys. And they were making these sacrifices already for a while before Cain's sacrifice was unacceptable. They weren't just young, you know, teens or whatever. So, you know, that's pretty helpful. What? Did I say a word I'm not supposed to say? Sometimes I say words I'm not supposed to say.
I was going to ask you if I could say something.
Yes, of course you can say something.
A thing, like a lot of people forget too, when like Zen Garcia first started pushing this stuff, and it didn't ever sit right with me, and I would try to bring up the point that Cain was the first human ever born in transgression. right? So it does.
What?
Cain was the first human ever born. So it does.
What?
Cain was the first human ever born.
Oh, because he's the firstborn son.
He's the firstborn son, and he's the firstborn into transgression or by transgression, because they were exiled from the Garden of Eden.
That's
and
correct.
Then they had him. So to say that it's because somehow the serpent impregnated Eve is kind of ridiculous. Like, when there's this other factor is the fact that he was the first born in transgression.
Yeah.
Like,
they were actually out of the garden for 7 years before she even became pregnant. So it didn't have nothing to do with the dragon, the serpent, Tashatan, any of that. No, we don't do Saturnalia. I don't know if you're trying to be. It had nothing to do with the dragon, the serpent, Tashatan, any of that. No, we don't do Saturnalia. I don't know if you're trying to be. What do they call it? Stick around and try to listen, and maybe we can be quickened and sharpened together. Yeah, it is great to be back with you guys. Trying to think. I can't even express enough in words how amazing Yahuwah, this dawning when we were in Mitiyahu 11 through, what did we do, 13? 11 through 13. Nuggets on the oneness. Oh, there's this other one where a lot of people say that someone has the spirit of Elijah. What was it again, baby? Oh, John the Baptist had the spirit of Elijah. This is what they say. This is what they teach in Christianity. But no. First of all, it's not Elijah. Okay, you got to get understanding. It's Yahu, which is to say Yahuwah is Elohim. Yahuwah is Elohim. And Yahusha is speaking that title. Okay, that's a spirit of truth and understanding that Yahuwah is Elohim. Behold, Yashar'Al, Yahuwah, our Elohim is Echad, is one. So two of the disciples of Yahuchanan the Immerser came to Yahusha and were asking him questions. And when he answered the questions, he quoted from the prophet, I believe it's Isaiah, Yashiyahu, right? And I'm going to maybe do a video on this separate because it's so much meat. I think it was chapter 35 and chapter 61 or 60, verse
61.
1. Where Yahusha was taking upon himself the fulfillment of the prophecy of what the Most High Yahuwah was going to do for Yashar'Al in restoring their sight, and their hearing, and the lame walking, and all these things, and that you will see the esteem of Yahuwah when he comes, which he's basically saying that I am he who comes in the name of the Most High Yahuwah. He's saying he is Yahuwah, and so many people don't see this, but the scripture also says that they cannot see it unless it is given by the Ruach of Yahuwah. This is a mighty spirit of Yahuwah, unlike, again, the Gnostics who teach that it's this feminine spirit. There's a lot of the worship of the Queen of Heaven that goes into their theory, the mother-child reunion. Everything is the same entities with different names told over and over again, but that's the mystery Babylon, the mystery religion. That Baruk Yahuah is not so much of a mystery to those of us who he's shown these lies, these false ways. So the more we understand the authentic truth of scriptures, we can quickly spot the counterfeits that are there, and they are multiple ones. Baruk Yahuah. All right, so I think I will just go ahead and jump right in, right? We got 5 more chapters to get through, and I'm going to tell you guys right up front. There is some scripture here that is going to be challenging for certain people to hear and understand because we have to take everything in context, and we have to take everything in the context of the entirety of scripture. So sometimes when you hear a little piece of something, you can create a confusion if we don't have the foundation of all the scriptures. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, that felt like a mouthful to get that out. But there's some stuff coming up here about circumcision, so that is a deep understanding. Deep understanding. I will say, just quickly, that I believe that the physical manifestation of the circumcision of the male member has to do with the ruach behind the lusting after, right? So yeah, so we're supposed to put off that old man. You'll see the demonic forces constantly trying to bombard man with images of this seductress, this harlot, this fast and loose, and all with the makeup and whatever. And so we need to guard our eyes, and we need to flee from these temptations so that they may not get a stronghold on us, because having once been very much entangled in that, I'll tell you, it's very powerful and affects a lot of males. What?
It affects females too.
It affects females too, but let me tell you something, baby. Because if you have never been a man, then you won't really understand. Just like I can't fully understand everything about childbearing because I'm a man, and I don't understand everything about the cycle and different things, right? I want to try to understand, because I want to try to be, is it empathetic, like understanding, but I also realize I won't really fully get it because I haven't walked in it.
Yeah, and it's not commanded of females to be circumcised, but I just mean in the sense that I've seen females use their selves in that way to have power and influence over males, because they know that they're affected so easily.
And I know that my sisters struggle a lot with trying to live up to a standard that the world puts out that's almost unattainable in a way, because sometimes they use males to do it, right? To create an image that's an androgynous image. But yeah, all the pressure that my sisters have to have their hair this way and their makeup this way and their clothes this way and all this, so that they can be considered pretty and beautiful. And it's a very powerful thing that they have to wrestle with, that y'all have to wrestle with.
I felt attacked.
Yeah, you're not being attacked. I'm actually wanting to try to free you from some of those pressures that come from the enemy, because in Yahuwah's kingdom, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and you're perfect the way you are. That's why I encourage you to not have to feel like you have to shave your legs or wear makeup or do these things, but to just be filled with his Ruach. It's the most beautiful thing that you can do. So hallelujah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These Jezebels out here causing their brothers to stumble.
Right, and it causes the sisters to stumble too, because they're chasing after this image that's not really even realistic, and it's not really actually beautiful to a son of the Most High anyway. You know what I'm saying? Baruk Yahuah. All right. Let's go in, family. And when we do some of the dates, I'm going to try to calculate these. I'm not saying that I understand it fully, but I think that I do have... Oh yeah, completely. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be saying that word. For those of you who do not know, yes, the Jezebel spirit and the makeup, and fallen angels taught that to us about the makeup, right? Yep, so you don't need that. And it doesn't come from Yahuwah, Baruk Yahuah. So I'm not saying I understand the date calculations perfectly or completely, but this is the path. Okay, this is what we need to do to work together to get complete understanding on this. Okay, so, and in the past 2 video series I did calculate a bunch of them, and I'm gonna continue to do that in this episode. Okay, so Atah Yahuah, we thank you for your 7th day rest, that we know that you are our rest, and that in order to have proper understanding of your feasts, your Shabbos, we must know you and know you well. We must know and acknowledge that you and you alone are Elohim. Please Baruch our time together in your word. Quicken and sharpen us, that we may learn to be more like you. We are pursuing your perfect righteousness, to be your purified and sanctified bride. In the name above all names, Yahusha HaMashiach. Amen. All right. So, Yubalym, chapter 11. Okay, so there's one right away. So, in the 35th Yubalym, in the 3rd week, and in the 1st year thereof. So, let me just try to do that one first. So, I said 35 times 50 is 1750. And then it says, in the 3rd week, in the 1st year thereof. So, I don't know if it should be 21, because that's 3 times 7 plus 1. That's one possibility. 1750 plus 22, 1772. Or another possible one would be 35 times 50 plus, you have, it's saying 3rd week, so you could have 2 weeks completed, which is 14, and then you're adding the 1st year of the 3rd week, which would be 1. So that would be 1765. So, and I'm not saying that it matters so much down to the exact year. It really matters that we understand that the Father's given us a timeline. You know, somebody posted the other day.
What are we calculating?
What? We're calculating when we are. It says, and in the 35th Jubilee, in the 3rd week, in the 1st year thereof, Re'u took to himself a woman, to her name was Orah, the daughter of Ur, the son of Chesed, and she bore to him a son, and called his name Saroch, in the 7th year of this week, in this Jubilee. It's giving us a calendar, a timeline. That's what Yubalym is. It's telling us when all these things happen. So I saw somebody posting something about, you know, how they do carbon dating on Egyptian artifacts, and then saying, oh, that makes it Garden of Eden not make sense, and this and that. Well, just because they say that something is 21,000 years old or 2 million years old, doesn't mean it's true. Right here we have in the scriptures when creation was and all this whole timeline. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't trust known liars who lie to me over and over and over. And I don't think you should either. That's not very wise. Okay? But believing and trusting in the word of the Most High, I think, is wise, right? We saw these scriptures unearthed in like a time capsule, the caves of Qumran. And, you know, I'm not finding anything that proves to be errant. And every time I thought there was something wrong with the word, I realized there was something wrong with me, with my understanding. And I had to conform my own mindset to match what his word says, because that's where the truth is.
You're thinking. Your mind.
Can you just say what you're trying to say? Because I don't understand. I'm so sorry. Tell me.
SET.
Oh, SET is a four mighty one. Did I say that?
Your mind, SET.
Oh, see, my Asha's helping me because I said mind, SET, which is not a clean way for me to be speaking. And so, in my household, we help each other, and I'm trying, but that word is the one I struggle with the most, right?
Yeah.
Even when I want, like, my son to prepare his room before we depart to go work, I say to get it SET up. And I don't want to say that. So I'm going to start to try to say prepared. But instead of MIND, maybe I could try to say thinking. But conform our thinking to the scriptures and not the word. A lot of people err because they want to compromise on what the word says so that it will be acceptable to the world. And that's man-pleasing and not Yahuwah-pleasing. Baruk Yahuah. Okay, so we're in the 35th Jubilee in the 3rd week in the 1st year of. So that's 30 times 50 plus a week is 7 years, and then it's an additional year. All right, so it's giving us a genealogy here. And then it says, and the sons of... Now, I don't know if you guys saw that I recently did a video that was called, This is a Call to the Elders of Yashar'Al. Because I'll tell you, my mind was blown when I realized that we've been saying Noah. I'll breathe, right?
Shofar.
Yep, shofar is really shupar. And Noah is a nun chet, so that would be nak, which is almost like knock, right? So right here it says, and the sons of Nach began to war on each other, to take captive and to slay each other, and to shed the blood of persons, males, on the earth, and to eat the blood, and to build strong cities and walls and towers, and individuals began to exalt themselves above the nation, and to found the beginning of kingdoms, and to go to war, people against people, and nation against nation, and city against city, and all began to do evil, and to acquire arms, Barukah, and to teach their sons war, and they began to capture cities, and to sell males, Barukah, and females as slaves. This is basically telling us when slavery started. We just established where we were in the timeline around 1765, 1765 years from the day of creation. All this stuff happened. And the last time, if you...
It didn't take very long, did it?
The last time... No, not at all. And the last time, if you missed it, go back and watch the video, which is chapters 6 through 10. It was explaining how the sons of Noah, or Nuke, came to him and asked him to petition the Father, and Nuke Palal to Yahuwah to restrain these wicked spirits that were causing all this bloodshed in the earth. And the Father agreed to send his Qadash angels to bind them. But then the prince of the wicked spirits, which it gave a name Matsema, which was basically another name for Hashatan, he asked Yahuwah to keep 10% of them loose that would listen to his commands, and ultimately Yahuwah agreed. But then Yahuwah also sent apothecary understanding of medicine, healing through plants naturally, to Nuke. So this is as it continues after that. They went from 100% of the demons being loosed on the earth to now only 10%. And look how much they've done with 10%. So as in the days of Nuke, so shall it be the return of the son of Adam. I believe that other 90% are going to be loosed.
Oof, Abba have mercy.
And that's what it is when they open up the key to the bottomless pit to unbind and unloose all these wicked ruachas. So we're going to go from only having 10% to all 100% of them doing evil upon the face of the earth. And so go back and check out that video if you missed it, because it's huge. It's so huge, you guys. Baruk Yahuah for revealing these things to us.
That's probably why men's hearts will fail them, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are not going to be able to endure that, right? So chapter 11, verse 3, and Ur, which we know that Abram was called out of the land of Ur, so that land of Ur is named after this one right here. And Ur, the son of Chesed, built a city of Ara, of the Kasdim, and call its name after his own name and the name of his father. And they made for themselves molten images, and they worshipped each the idol, the molten image. And they had made for themselves, they began to make graven images and unclean. Now here's a word, Simulacra. Simulacra. I'm going to actually look this word. Ulacra. Simulacra. I'm going to actually look this word really quick, family. I know you can't see my screen, but I'm doing Simulcra. And then I'm going to click on images. Okay, so I see a lot of distorted faces. This is a word that basically means like an image of, a representation of. Simulacra often appear in speculative fiction, examples of, in the sense of artificial, supernaturally, or scientifically created artificial life forms. Okay? AI, that's a great one, baby. That's right. And they even admit now, I mean, they're coming out and saying, you know, Elon Musk said that that it's a demon, right? Which, even, dang, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this in here, but this word in the Greek is damion, which is where we get demon from, but it also sounds an awful lot like dominion. And this is a word that we can use instead in case you're really into that kind of thing. They're messing with my connection. Rosh Dalet Che Rada. To rule, to have dominion. So that's an oblique way that we can say that word so we can have a clean tongue. Okay? Baruk Yahuah. So they're beginning to do these things that are abominations, right? So they have graven images, molten images. They're making for themselves these unclean simulacra, basically like artificial life for their devils.
Iron and clay.
And malignant Ruach Ha'Qadash, or wicked spirits, assisted them and seduced them into committing transgression and uncleanness. So when you have fellowship with the darkness and with devils and demons, they seduce you, entice you into doing things that lead to destruction and death and pain and suffering. That's right, honey. I think there's something to that, yeah. Okay, so the prince. Now this is that name I told you guys about. Mastema. If you look that up and you click on images, just be forewarned, it's going to be very, very dark. Okay? So you don't have to go look at that. You don't need to do that. I'm just telling you if you do, because I've tested these things and that's that's what I saw. So be armored up. Right? Yeah. So this prince, Mastema, exhorted himself to do all this, and he sent forth other wicked spirits, other Ruach Ha'Qadash, those which were under his hand, which is the 10% I told you about, right? To do all manner of wrong. And Chata is a clean word for S-I-N. We don't say S-I-N because it is a moon deity. And we're not supposed to have the names of four mighty ones on our lips, right? Again. And all manner of transgression to corrupt and to destroy and to shed blood on the earth. It's close, Damon. The first one is going to be a CH, like the Chat. CHATAH. So if you just put a capital C, the first one is going to be a CH, like the Chat. CHATAH. So if you just put a capital C in a row, Sarug, for everyone turned to do all manner of kata and transgression. Now, earlier in our last video, Noach was talking to his sons, and he's like, you guys are starting to do the things that happened before, like, and he was warning them and everything. Okay? the reason that the flood happened in the first place. Okay, everything's coming back, where the thoughts of men were perverse and evil and twisted continually, that kind of thing. Okay, reprobate minds. And he grew up and dwelt in Ur of the Kasdim, near to the father of his woman's mother, and he worshipped idols. And he took to himself a woman in the 36th Jubilee, in the 5th week, in the 1st year thereof. So I am going to do this one because I said I was going to be doing some of these. So let me try. So the first one, it says 36 Jubilee. So 36 times 50 equals the 1800. Okay. And then it says in the 5th week. So that's basically like 5 times 7. So 5 times 7 is 35, right? And then also we're adding onto it 1 year. So one possible way that I've been trying to consistently use would be 1836. Okay, so in the year 1836 from creation, yeah, he took this woman, and her name was Malka. She was the daughter of Chabar, the daughter of his father's brother. So, and she bore him Nachor in the 1st year of this week, and he grew and dwelt in Ur of the Kasdim, and his father taught him the research of the Kasdim, to divine and to augur. Augur. So I was like, what is that? I wanted to look that up. And so I did. And I've got to tell you guys, if I could just show you guys some of the imagery that I see on my screen, you'd be amazed. So there's like these priests now, right? If you put Augur and click on images, you're going to see these robed priests that have these staffs in their hands that go up and they go around like this, like a swirly symbol. And if you know what that is, then you know what that is, okay?
The Catholic high-ranking priests have those.
When they said that the Pope is going to knock on the tomb that's adjacent to Lucifer on Christmas Eve, he had that in his hand.
Diane was just asking about that too.
Yeah, look like druids, yeah. So and then if you go, okay, well, what is that? Like, I want to know the definition, right? It can be used as a noun or a verb, has multiple meanings. An augur was a priest of official ancient Rome who interpreted omens and divine will of the gods. Little gods, those are demons. So they're like necromancers, or like they're like communicating with devils, okay, and all that. That's so it says
warlocks.
They started learning to divine and to augur according to the signs of heaven. Now, we know that there's an ancient writing of the Watchers that taught the omens of the sun, moon, and stars. This goes back to the foundation of the mystery religions and mystery Babylon that I was talking about a little bit ago in this video, in this assembly, whatever we're going to call it. Okay. So, witchcraft, dark magic, dark maga, whatever you want to. You see what I'm saying? Dark magic, dark maga, whatever you want to. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Yikes is right, sis. Okay. And in the 37th Jubilee, in the 6th week, in the 1st year of there, he took to himself a woman, and her name was Ayaska, the daughter of Nastag of the Kasdim, and she bore to him Tarach in the 7th year of this week, and the prince. There's that name again, Mastema, which we could say, Hashatan, sent ravens and birds to devour the seed which was sown in the land, in order to destroy the land and rob the children of Adam of their labors before they could plow in the seed. The ravens used to come and pluck it up of the surface of the ground. And when we were in Mitiyahu earlier, Yahusha was talking about the sowing and the heart, and he was saying that there's that the boughs of the air can come and pluck up the seed being the Basura, the great news of deliverance. So he was using imagery from Yubalym, I believe, to explain to his disciples what the kingdom of heaven is like. He gave multiple parables about what the kingdom of heaven is like. this reason he called the name Tarach, because the ravens and the birds reduced them to destitution and devoured their seed. And the years began to be barren. So this is like a famine, because of the birds that were being sent by Hashatan to pluck out their labors. And they devoured all the fruits of the trees from the trees, and it became with great effort that they could even save a little bit of food out of all the fruits of the earth in those days. Right? Baruk Yahuah. Okay? So this one, let's try to go back to the calculator. I want to do this one. It says, in the 39th Jubilee, 39 times 50 is 1950. In the second week, so that's plus 14. And then in the first year, that's plus 1. So it's 1965, not our 1965, but 1,965 years after creation, Tarach took to himself a woman, and her name was Adnah, the daughter of Avram, the daughter of his father's sister. And in the 7th year of this week, she bore him a son, and called his name Avram, by the name of his father, or by the name of the father of his mother, I should say. For he had expired before the daughter was able to conceive the son. And the child began to understand the errors of the earth, that all went astray after graven images and uncleanness. And his father taught him writing, and he was 2 weeks of years old. That's 14. 2 weeks, 7 and 7. Okay? This is more confirmation too, you guys. I got confirmation of the 4 seasonal new moons coming up in here, and been having them. And then also when it says the weeks, it's going by the Shabbat, the series of 7, the pattern of 7. And this is a continual theme in Yahuwah's Moedim. The pattern of 7 cannot be broken. All right. He separated himself from his father that he might not worship idols. And he began to palal to the creator of all things, that he might deliver him from the errors of mankind, or the children of Adam, and that his portion should not fall into the error after the uncleanness and the vileness. Okay? And the seed time came for the sowing of seed upon the land, and they all went forth together to protect their seed against these ravens. And Avram went forth with those that went, and the child was a lad of 14 years. Oh, see, there you go. 14 years is just confirmed that he was 2 weeks is 14. Okay. And a cloud of ravens came to devour the seed, and Abram ran to meet them before they settled on the ground. And he cried out to them before they settled on the ground to devour the seed. And he said, descend not, return to the place whence you come. And they proceeded to turn back. And he caused the clouds of ravens to turn back that day 70 times. And all the ravens throughout all the land of Abram was there settled there not so much as even one. And all who were with him throughout all the land saw him crying out, and the ravens turning back, and his name became great in the land of the Kasdim. And there came to him this year all those that wished to sow, and he went with them until the time of sowing ceased. And they sowed their land, and that year they brought enough grain home and eat, and were satisfied. And in the first year, the 5th week, Avram taught those who made the implements of their oxen, this is like the plows, artifices of wood to pull behind the oxen. And they made a vessel above the ground, facing the frame of the plow, in order to put all the seeds therein. And the seed would fall upon the share of the plow, and then became hidden by the earth. So he was teaching them how to open up the ground, put the seed in, and then cover it, so that the ravens couldn't pluck it out. Baruk Yahuah. Baruk Yahuah. Okay? Thus they no longer feared the ravens, and after this manner they made vessels above the ground on all the frames of their plows, that they may sow and till the land according to as Abraham had commanded them. And they no longer feared the birds. Baruk Yahuah. Baruk Yahuah. That was chapter 1, family. That was chapter 1. Now, keep in mind, Abram's is only 14 years old, and he's understanding the differences between, idol worship, and he's calling out to the Creator, and the Father's with him and giving him wisdom, right? Chapter 12. And it came to pass in the 6th week, in the 7th year thereof, that Abram said to Terach his father, Father. And he said, Behold, here I am, my son. And he said, What help and what profit have we from these idols which you worship, and before which you bow yourself down? For there is no Ruach in them. He's like, they're not, there's no spirit in them. They're just wood and stone, right? And they're dumb form, and they're misleading to your heart. Worship them not. Worship Elohim of heaven, who causes the rain and the dew to descend on the earth, and does everything upon the earth, and has created everything by his word, and all life is from before his face. Why do you worship these things that have no Ruach in them? For they are the work of a man's hand, and your shoulder has to bear them, and you get no help from them. But they're a great cause of shame to those who make them, and a misleading of the heart to those who worship them, so worship them not. And his father said, I also know it, my son. But what shall I do with the people who have made me to serve before them? Going back to that man-pleasing we talked about earlier, huh? And if I tell them the truth, then they will slay me, for their souls cleaving unto them to worship them and honor them. Now, how many of you guys know what it's like to go to your friends and family and tell them about the idolatry of Christmas or Easter or Ishtar worship or calling on the name of Baal or any of these things? Try to tell someone that the Messiah's name is not J-E-S-U-S and watch how they act, right? Because they're cleaved to it. It's like a stronghold. It has dominion over them, and they're given over to it, right? Baruk Yahuah. All right, baby, I love you. So his father tells him, keep silent, my son, right? Unless they slay you. So he fears the people, not the Most High, right? They really are hooked on it, that's right. And these words he spoke to his 2 brothers, and they became angry with him, so he kept silent. Okay? And in the 40th Jubilee, in the 2nd week, and in the 7th year thereof, Abram took to himself a woman, and her name was Sarai. So let's do that one. 40 times 50 is 2,000. And then you got 2nd week is 14, and 7th year. That one definitely seems like it would be 2014. I think that's probably the way that needs to go. Still learning too, family. I don't know everything. Okay? Alright. So now we got Abram is with Sarai. She is the daughter of his father, and she became his woman, or a Shah. That is a Shah, wife. Right? And Haran, his brother, took to himself a woman in the 3rd year of the 3rd week, and she bore him a son in the 7th year of this week, and called his name Lot. So now we got Lot, Abram and Lot, right? And we know who these people are. Now, Lot's father's name is Haran, and he is his brother, and Haran his brother, so Abram's brother. And Nahor his brother took to himself a woman. And in the 6th year of the life of Abram, that is in the 4th week, in the fourth year thereof, Abram arose at night and burned the house of idols, burning all that was in the house, and no one knew about it. Okay? And they arose up in the night, seeking to go save their Elohim, their little idols, from the midst of the fire. And Haran hastened to save them, But the fire flamed over him, and he was burnt in the fire, and he unalived in Ur of the Kasdim before Terach his father, and they bury him in Ur of the Kasdim. So that's Avram's brother. Wanted to save the idol so much that he went in there and he didn't make it. Terach went forth from Ur of the Kasdim, he and his sons, to go into the land of Lebanon. Lebanon, north of the modern day Israel, in the land of Canaan, and he dwelt in the land of Haran, and Abram dwelt with Terach his father in Haran 2 weeks of years. That's another 14 years. And in the 6th week, in the 5th year therein, meaning of that Jubilee, Abram sat up throughout the night. Okay, listen, guys. Whoo! Baruk Yahuah. On the new moon of the 7th month, to observe the stars from the evening to the dawning, in order to see what would be the character of the years with regarding to the rains. He was alone as he sat and observed. Okay. So, 7th year. If we go to the calendar, if you don't have it, email me and I'll send it to you. But if you have it, go look at the 7th month. You're going to see in the 7th month we have Saku. It's huge. We have Yom Kippur, right? From the evening of the 9th to the evening of the 10th. This is a feast. And we have Saku, which is the 15th to the 22nd. Now, it's saying on the new moon of. Now, I've already told you the seasons are 1, 4, 7. Can you see my fingers? What's going on? 7, and 10. It's not working very great. 10. Anyway. So, the 7th month is autumn. So this is the Moedim of the new moon of the 7th month, which would be the head of autumn. Okay? If you guys were with me before in the other parts, when we did chapter 6, we know that Noah had key things that happened with the ark and with the waters ascending and descending, and he said these are feasts forever after Yahuwah. And it says in the scripture that they were already being celebrated in the Shemayim before the foundation of the world. So this is Yahuwah's Moedim, and Yahuwah is always doing mighty things on his Moedim. This has been lost to our people for a very long time. A very long time. Okay, we have 4 seasonal new moons, and we have, I said at the beginning of this video that on the pagan day 12/16 is the new moon day for the beginning of winter this year. Okay, so it was the new moon day for autumn, and Abram is there gazing at the stars, and a word came into his heart that said, all the signs of the stars and the signs of the moon and of the sun are all in the hand of Yahuwah. Why do you search them out? If he desires, he causes it to rain, dawning and evening. And if he desires, he shall withhold it. And all things are in his hand. And so he palal, right? He petitioned the Most High. My Elohim, Alyan, you alone are my Elohim, and you and your so this word that they wrote here is the dominion word, which I'm trying to learn to use the clean one. So this would be Radah, right? Your sovereign rule, your Radah. So I'm going to try to use it right now. You and your Radah have I chosen, and you have created all things, and all things that are the work of your hands. Deliver me from the hands of evil Ruach, who have Radah, dominion, over the thoughts of man's hearts. Let them not lead me astray from you, my Elohim, hallelujah, and establish me and my seed forever, that we go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. His palaling for his seed to be preserved from wicked spirits. And he said, Shall I go back to Ur of the Kasdim, those who seek my face? Or shall I remain here in this place? The right path before you prospered in the hands of your servant, that I may complete it, and that I may not walk in the deceitfulness of my own heart, O Alachai. This is a very Qadash Palal for us all to make all the time when we're faced with different choices, and ask him to cause us to walk in his will. And he made an end of speaking and palaling, and behold, the word of Yahuah was sent to him through me. This is one of the Qadash angels, okay? Saying, get you up from your country and from your kindred and from the house of your father unto a land which I will show you. And I shall make you a great and numerous nation, and I will Baruk you, and I will make your name great, and you shall be Baruked in the earth, and in you shall all families of the earth be Baruked, and I will Baruk them that Baruk you, and curse them that curse you. Baruk Yahuah. Baruk Yahuah. Hallelujah. And I will be an Elohim to you, and to your sons, and to your sons' sons, to all your seed. Fear not, from henceforth and unto all the generations of the earth, I am your Elohim. And Yahuah, Elohim, said, open up his mouth and his ears, that he may hear, and that he may speak with the language which has been revealed, for it had ceased from the mouths of all the children of Adam from the day of the overthrow of the Tower of Babel. Baruk Yahuah, do you know what this is? This is Abrit. This is the clean tongue, the pure language. The 22 letters that the Most High Yah write with his own finger. That's it, the language of creation, the language of angels. Okay, that's what we're seeking to restore. We don't speak Yiddish. We don't even speak Hebrew. Hebrew is a Latin word from the 12th century, family. It's called Abrim. Okay, just like Abraham. Abrit. Aleph, Bat, Resh, Yod, Tau. Okay, crossed over. And I opened his mouth and his ears and his lips, and he began to speak in the Abri, the language of creation. Baruk Yahuah. Halal Yahuah. If you don't know, please go check out my 2-part series on the YouTube channel called Clean Lips for more on this. Tada. Tada Rav Abinu. And he took the Sepharim of his fathers, and these were written in Abrit, and he would transcribe them, and he began to study them. And I made known to him that which he could not understand. And he studied them during the 6 rainy months. Right? Maybe he stayed down in them for 6 months straight, and the Ruach of Yahuah gave him understanding of all these things, okay? And it came to pass in the 7th year in the 6th week that he spoke to his father and informed him that he would leave Haran to go to the land of Canaan to see it and to return to him. And Terach, his father, said unto him, go in Shalom. May the eternal Elohim make your path straight, and Yahuah be with you and protect you from all evil, and grant unto you favor, chesed, mercy, before those who see you. May none of the children of Adam have power over you to harm you. Go in Shalom. And if you do see a land pleasant to your eyes to dwell there, then arise, take me to you, and Lot with you. The son of Haran, your brother, may be as your own son. Okay? So, Abram's father, sorry, puzzle piece. Abram's father said, take Lot as your own son. You know? Because remember, Lot's father died in the fire with the idols. okay, that Abram set. No one knows, no one knew that, but that's what happened. All right. And then he also says, Yahuwah be with you, and Nahor your brother leave with me until you return in Shalom, and then we will all go together. Okay, Baruk Yahuah. So we're going to chapter 13. And Avram journeyed from Haran, and he took Sarai, his woman, his Ashah, and Lot, his brother, Haran's son, to the land of Canaan. And he came into Ashshur, and proceeded to Shechem, and dwelt near a lofty oak. Kind of interesting, because I was looking for that, and they're saying it's in the area of like, no, not the West Bank. Is it like showing it to be in the area east of Jerusalem, but south of the West Bank area? And it's looking really trashy nowadays. And there's this tree there that they claim is this tree, but, you know, not sure if that's true. And he saw, and behold, the land was very pleasant from entering of Hamath to the lofty oak. So Father just put on my remembrance. You know, there's a curse upon the land, right? No one should look upon the land and think that it is like it always was or like it will be again. Because now it's like a cursed land. Like it says that people pass by and wag their finger, and you know, so there's a lot of people that think that the promised land is America, and I don't agree with that. But we can't use as evidence to say, oh well, look how beautiful it is here, and that's kind of like how it's described in some of these old writings, without remembering that the land became cursed. When all of the curses of Deuteronomy 28 were placed upon us and upon the land. Amen. And Yahuwah said unto him, to you and your seed will I give this land. And he built an altar there, and he offered thereon an ascending smoke sacrifice to Yahuwah, who had appeared to him. Also remember too, Abram is a son of Sham. This land was already given to Sham, and that's why if you look at the previous video that we did, we talked about how Nuh said, Baruch it be Sham and curse it be Canaan, because Canaan came and squatted in the land of Sham, and that's why they were referring to it as Canaan. Okay, but it wasn't originally given to Canaan by lots, not Lot, this Lot like casting lots. That's how they divided the land. Okay, and that's found in Yubalym chapter 8, if you don't know, and it's in the second video of this series where we talk about that as well. Okay, and he built this altar there to make an ascending smoke offer. You know, like how does he know to make these sacrifices? Remember, it's not Mount Sinai yet, Baruk Yahuah. Okay, just like Nuh knew to make them, and even the sons of Adam, Cain and Abel, knew to make these. And he removed from thence unto the mountain Batal on the west, and Ai on the east, or Ai on the east, and pitched his tent there. And he saw, and behold, the land was very wide, and Taub, and everything grew thereon, figs, pomegranates, oaks, ilexes, terebinths, oil trees, cedars, cypresses, date trees, and all the trees of the field. And there was water on the mountains. And he Baruk Yahuwah, who had led him out of Ur of the Kasdim and brought him to this land. All right, now here we go is another one. Look at this. And it came to pass in the first year, in the 7th week of the new moon of the first month. There it is again. That is the sign for the beginning of springtime. That's when a new year starts in Abib. Okay, so something's very significant happening again on this Moedim. Okay, So it's the new moon of the first month. He built an altar on the mountain and called on the name of Yahuwah. You, the eternal Elohim, are my Elohim. And he offered on the altar an ascending smoke sacrifice unto Yahuwah, that he shall be with him and not forsake him all the days of his life. And he removed them thence and went towards the Negev, and he came to Hebron. And Hebron was built at that time, and he dwelt there 2 years. And he went thence into the land of the Negev to Baal-Loth, and there was a famine in the land. And Abram went into Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim, a son of Ham, in the 3rd year of the week, and he dwelt in Mitzrayim 5 years before his woman, Sarah, was torn away from him. Now Tanais in Mitzrayim was at that time built 7 years after Hebron. How many of you guys know how Abraham became wealthy? Hey, we're reading from Yubalym, or Jubilees, and we're in chapter 13. Oh, thank you for that, family. Yeah, thank you for putting that up there. Sorry if I missed any stuff earlier. I've been trying to get a lot of the reading in. Okay, so Avram is departed from Ur, and he's in Mitzrayim. And now it's saying that his woman is taken from him. So let's see. And it came to pass when Pharaoh seized Sarai, the woman of Abram, that Yahuwah plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Avram's Ashah. Remember, what did he say? I will Baruk those who Baruk you, and I will curse those who curse you. Remember? These people better pay attention when they start messing around with Yashar'Al. It's not going to go well for them. You know? Yahuwah deal with it. Yahuwah rebuked them. Vengeance is his, right? Okay. Abram was very magnificent by reason of possessions in sheep, cattle, asses, horses, camels, manservants, maidservants, silver and gold exceedingly. And Lot also, his brother's son, was wealthy. I don't think anybody answered how he became wealthy. Is Maya Shah in here? Are you in here, honey? How did he become wealthy? And it happened more than once. Yeah, she's there. We got promises. You remember when, right? It was given to him by Pharaoh. Remember when we came out of Egypt, the Egyptians were just giving us all their gold and all their precious things, being like, go, get out of here. We can't take any more of your mighty one's plagues. Right? The Pharaoh was like, oh, why didn't you tell me that she was your wife? You said she was your sister. Go, take her, leave. Here, take all this stuff. Get out of here. Go. Take all your curses with you, please, right? A shadowing of the crossing over. Agreed. Agreed. Baruk Yahuah. Okay, and Pharaoh gave back Sarai, the woman of Abram, and he sent him out of the land of Mitzrayim, and he journeyed to the place where he had pitched his tent at the beginning, to the place of the altar, with Ai on the east and Batal on the west, and he baruked Yahuwah Eloheinu, who had brought him back in Shalum. And it came to pass in the 41st Jubilee, on the 3rd year of the 1st week, that he returned to the place and offered thereon an ascending smoke sacrifice, and called on the name of Yahuwah, and said, okay, let me just read that again. I'm getting... Sorry, I got a little distracted. Okay. And it came to pass in the 41st week of the Jubilee of the 3rd year, in the 1st week, that he returned to the place that he had offered there on the setting spoke, and he called on the name of Yahuwah and said. So this time it doesn't tell us what month it is. I find that interesting. You, all Yon, you are my Elohim forever and ever. And in the 4th year of this week, Lot parted from him, and Lot dwelt in Sodom. And the males of Sodom were transgressors exceedingly. And it grieved him in his heart that his brother's son had parted from him, for he had no children. In that year when Lot was taken captive, Yahuwah said unto Abram, after that Lot had parted from him, in the 4th year of this week, lift up your eyes from the place where you are dwelling, northward and southward, westward and eastward. For all the land which you see I will give to you and to your seed forever, and I will make your seed as the sand of the sea. Though a man may number the dust of the earth, yet your seed shall not be numbered. Arise, walk through the land and the length of it and the breadth of it, and see it all. For to your seed will I give it. And Abram went to Hebron and dwelt there. Baruk Yahuah. Baruk Yahuah. Okay. And in this year came Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Armaphal, king of Shinar, and Aryak, king of Alakar, and Tidal, king of nations, and slew the king of Amorah, and the king of Sodom fled. And many fell through the wounds in the valley of Siddim by the salt sea. And they took captive Sodom and Adam and Savim, and they took captive Lot also, the son of Abram's brother, and all his possessions. And they went to Dan. Alright, so this is all these pagan kings. And now Lot done got caught up in this mess. And one who escaped came and told Abram that his brother's son had been taken captive. And Abram armed his household servants for Abram and for his seed, 1/10 of the first fruits to Yahuwah, and Yahuwah ordained it as an ordinance forever, that they should give it to the priests who served before him, that they should possess it forever. So this is a reference to what they call Melchizedek. I tell you is actually Malach Sadak, which means king of righteousness. And so this is a priesthood before the Levitical priesthood, okay? Priests unto Yahuwah. And to this Thurah there is no limit of days, for he has ordained it for the generations forever, that they should give to Yahuwah the 10th of everything of the seed of the wine, the oil, the cattle, the sheep. And he gave it to his priests to eat and to drink with joy before him. And the king of Sodom came to him and bowed himself before him and said, Our Adoni, Abram, give us the souls which you have rescued, but let the booty be yours. And Abram said unto him, I lift up my hands to Al-Alyon, that from even a thread of a shoe latchet I shall take nothing that is yours, lest you shall say, I have made Abram rich, save only what the young males, my young males, have eaten, and the portion that of those who went with me, Anar, Ashkal, Mamre, these shall take for their portion. So it didn't really tell us so much here, but Abram went military mode and went in there and got Lot and every single bit of their possessions out. Okay, so we understand that we can't have victories like that unless it's all by Yahuwah doing the fighting for us. You know what I'm saying? So Baruk Yahuah. Baruk Yahuah. All right, so chapter 14 and then 15. You don't actually have that much more to go. After these things, in the 4th year, on this week, the new moon of the 3rd month. Now this is so the 3rd month is actually Shabuot, which is the counting of the 50 from unleavened bread. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Give me a 1 if you know what I'm talking about, because I know a lot of people maybe don't understand, and I want to try to help people understand. Interestingly enough, in this past Shabuot, guess what was also in the Shemayim? Full moon. So I want to like show you. It's okay, you don't need to be sorry, Dan. But you probably do need to get a copy of the calendar and start watching the playlist. Yeah, baby. See, that's my shot. Wait, what? No kidding. Okay, here, I'll just show you guys right now. I'm gonna have to like do a couple things, so bear with me. I gotta turn off the background thing, and then I gotta flip the camera around to show you my laptop screen. So right there, you see how it says 3rd month, right? And here's Shabuot right down here. It's highlighted in orange, and I already had the moon there. See that? Yeah, you did message me, and I did send an email, and I sent an email, and I was like, is this Damon? And then I never got an answer back. But please don't message me that way. Aki, no offense, but if you could just email me, that way, because I do it on a different computer, and that's where I have all those files and stuff. So yeah, so right there, anyone can go back and look this up. On 5/23 of 2024, the moon was full, and it was on Shabuot. And guess what? Now we're looking at what was happening in Abram's time. Okay? Bear with me, guys. I gotta just put this camera back on here. But I wanted to show you, like, I was blown away by that, but I was like, well, dang, sure enough, there it is. Okay. In the 4th year of this week, on the new moon of the 3rd month, the word of Yahuwah came to Abram in a dream, saying, fear not, Abram, I am your defender, Baruk Yahuah, and your reward will be exceeding great. And he said, Yahuwah, what will you give me, seeing I go hence childless? And the son of Masak, the son of my handmaid, is the Damascus Eleazar. He will be my heir. And to me you have given no seed. And he said, this man will not be your heir, but one that will come out of your own generation. He will be your heir. And he brought him forth abroad and said unto him, look towards the Shemayim, and number the stars if you are able to number them. Bing, bing, bing. Right? And he looked towards the Shemayim, behold the stars, and he said unto him, so shall your seed be. And he believed Yahuwah, and it was counted to him for righteousness. That sound familiar? And he said unto him, I am Yahuwah that brought you out of Ur of the Kasdim to give you the land of Canaan, to possess it forever. And I will be Elohim unto you and your seed after you. And he said, Yahuwah, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, take me an heifer 3 years, and a goat 3 years, and a sheep 3 years, and a turtle dove, and a pigeon. And he took all these in the middle of the month. Now, if you go back and look at the picture that I just showed you of the calendar, it's literally right in the middle of the 3rd month. Shabuot. It falls in the middle of the month. So again, this is a feast of Shabuot. Shabuot, I told you, that it's the annual remembrance of the marriage that we have with the Most High Yahuwah. Baruk Yahuah, this is a big, big, big feast, family. Okay? It's seriously important. All right? He took all these in the middle of the month, and he dwelt in the oak of Mamre, which is near Hebron, which is what I told you. If you go look that up to this day, you'll see that it's trash everywhere, broken down buildings, looking all like dirt, destitute, everything. It's become a, I think they call it a byword in the KJV. Cursed. And he built there an altar, and he sacrificed all these, and he poured their blood upon the altar, dividing them in the midst. Remember, separating, dividing, laying them over against each other. But the birds divided he not. And birds came down upon the pieces, and Abram drove them away, and did not suffer the birds to touch them, which also harkens back to what he was doing with the plow and the seeds, and driving off all the ravens that were plaguing the people. Baruk Yahuah. And it came to pass, when the sun had gone down, that an ecstasy fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And it was said unto Abram, know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and they shall bring them into bondage. This is another thing where when they try to say that America is the land, and then they also say, well, we're captives here. Well, then you don't really know Scripture at all, because it can't be both. It says right here that you're taken into a land that's not yours. Okay? Bringing them into bondage and afflicting them 400 years. A lot of people don't know, but I tried to put some videos out on this before. If you look at the Barbary slave trade, you'll actually see, and then we need to understand, okay, we have a lot of brothers and sisters that have been put into slavery, bondage. A lot of the people now, they think they're free, and they're not. You're not free. You know what I'm saying? In this system, you're free in Yahusha, but there's all the debt slavery. There's you got to get a license to fish. You got to get a death certificate, a birth certificate. I mean, you're just property. You're owned. You're traded on the stock exchange. Okay, like it's crazy. But anyway, back to the text. They shall bring them into bondage and afflict them 400 years. And the nation also to whom they will be in bondage will I judge. And after that they shall come forth with much substance. There that kind of is again too, right? You'll dwell in you'll dwell in a house that you did not build. You'll drink of the wine from grapes you did not plant. This is like a kind of like a theme that happens where the Qadashayam are given the wealth of the wicked. Yeah? Okay. And you shall go to your fathers in Shalum, and be buried in a taub old age. But in the 4th generation they shall return hither. For the iniquity of the Amorim is not yet completed. And he awoke from his sleep and arose, and the sun had gone down, and there was a flame. And behold, a furnace was smoking, and flame of fire passed through the pieces. Okay? Think back to how they were led by this coming out of Egypt in the Exodus story. Okay? This is Yahuah. The Ruach of Yahuah, right? Passed through the pieces. If we remember from the scripture, since there is nothing higher for him to, I want to say swear an oath to, Yahuah swear it upon himself. There is nothing higher for him to do, right? And on that day, Yahuah cut an agreement with Abram, saying, to your seed will I give this land, from the river of Mitzrayim unto the great river Parath. Now, I just want to say that there's a lot of stuff going on in the news lately, and there's this map that's being passed around. They're calling it the Greater Israel, and if you look on it, you actually see the part they've colored in is from the east of the Nile all the way to the river Parath, which is like Tigris area. So it's pretty interesting that they're trying to claim, of course they're trying to claim the literal land that's already promised to Abram, right? For themselves. Now listen to what it goes into next, because this is great. The Kinanim, the Kenazim, the Kadomonim, the Perazim, the Raphaim, the Parakim, the Chivaim, the Amorim, and the Kinanim, Girgashim, Yabushim. This is all these ones that are crossed with the Nephal. All these different lands of giants, these different giants inhabiting the land, yeah? And the day passed, and Abram offered the pieces and the birds and the fruit offerings and the drink offerings, and the fire devoured them. Baruk Yahuah. And on that day, it says, we cut an agreement with Abram. This is again from the perspective of these Qadash angels, the messenger. According as we had done with Noah, on this same month, Shabuot. I did a video. Please go check it out. It is the Shabuot video. And it talks about how you have Kepha, Peter, in the upper room in the book of Acts. You have Masha at Mount Sinai. You have Noah in Jubilees. All doing this Shabuot, entering into agreement with the Most High to be his people, to obey his commandments, all this. Right here also with Abram, of course, as it is. Yeah? As it is. Thank you, Father. And Abram renewed the feast and the ordinances for himself forever. And Abram rejoiced, making all things known to Sarai his woman. And he believed that he would have seed, but she did not bear. So he believed it would happen, but it hadn't happened yet, right? So Sarai goes to Abram and says, go into Hagar, my Mitzri maid. It may be that I shall bring up a seed unto you by her. So Abram hearkened unto the words of Sarah, and took the woman, and said unto her, do so. And Sarah took Hagar, her maid, the Mitzri, and gave her to Abram, her man, to be his Asha. It says woman, but I don't understand. Asha, woman, mother of his seed. And he went in unto her, and she conceived and bore him a son. And so he called his name Yishmael. Yishmael. In the 5th year of this week, and this was the 86th year in the life of Abram. Hey sis, Shabbat Shalom. It's great to see you. It's great to see you in here. Thank you for the likes. You guys are awesome. So that was 14. Got one chapter left. And there's a bit of meat in here. So let's let the Ruach lead here. Or continue to lead. And in the 5th year of the 4th week of this Jubilee, in the 3rd month, in the middle of the month. Now what did we just say about 3rd month, middle of the month? What is that? Shabuot again. What? And in the 5th year of the 4th week of this Jubilee, so we're still in the same Jubilee, the same series of 50, okay? In the 3rd month, in the middle of the month, Abram celebrated the feast of first fruits of the grain harvest. I will tell you that Shabuot is of a double nature. First fruits and Shabuot are the same. They are the same. Baruk Yahuah for that understanding. And we get this in Yubalym chapter 6. And you can go back and read it yourself. Or you can go and check out the video that we did on 6 through 10. And it's covered in the beginning part. Okay? And he offered new offerings on the altar, the first fruits of the produce unto Yahuwah. A heifer and a goat and a sheep on the altar as an ascending smoke sacrifice unto Yahuwah. The fruit offerings and the drink offerings he offered upon the altar with frankincense. Some people don't know, but let me just say that on some of the feasts you're commanded to make an offering by fire unto Yahuwah. Okay? And I know that triggers a lot of people because there's some people who don't want to eat meat. okay? And I just feel it's important to let you know that everything that the Most High has called clean remains clean, okay? There's some people out here who are trying to make clean animals unclean and troubling the mishpachah, the family, okay? It's just not true, and I don't want anybody to be troubled by it. I actually have a video, I think it's called Clean Meat is Still Food, or something like that. I guess I should know for sure if I'm going to tell you to go look at it, right? Hang on, family. Please bear with me because I want to do this properly. Aren't these scriptures amazing, you guys? So amazing. Maybe it has something to do with just how they were taken from us, and a lot of people don't know about them. So it's called You Can Eat Clean Meats. Please go check that out, because there's so many different layers to that, from the types of animals that were taken onto the ark. Okay, what it says in the beginning of Jubilees about how I gave you meat and fowl and all these things, and green herbs for food, multiple different things for food. The commandments that went to the Levitical priest, you think the Most High Yahuah is going to tell his priests to eat something, but he doesn't really want us to eat meat? That's stupid. He's not like that. He doesn't change. Okay, these people don't have understanding, and what's really sucks is that they usually have quite a few people listening to them. And that just makes me sad. I don't know, it breaks my heart, that part. Okay. And he offered new offerings on the altar, the first fruits of the produce, the heifer, the goat, the sheep on the altar, an ascending smoke sacrifice unto Yahuwah, the fruit of the offering, and their drink offering he offered upon the altar with frankincense. And Yahuwah appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am Ahayah Al Shaddai. Walk before me and be Kadash. I will make my agreement between me and you, and I will multiply you exceeding. And Abram fell on his face. And Elohim talked with him and said, Behold, my ordinance is with you, and you shall be the father of many nations. Neither shall your name any more be called Abram, but your name from henceforth and forevermore shall be Avraham. For the father of many nations I have made you, and I make you very great, and I will make you into nations, and kings shall come forth from you, and I shall establish my oath between me and you and your seed after you throughout their generations for an eternal oath, that I may be an Elohim unto you and to your seed after you, and unto the land where you have been a sojourner, the land of Canaan, that you may possess it forever, and I will be their Elohim. And Yahuwah said unto Abraham, And as for you, do you guard my oath? I keep saying oath in place of this word, which is covenant. And the reason why is because when witches assemble together in a circa, it's a coven. So I just prefer to say oath, but I want you to know why I'm saying it, okay? You and your seed after you, circumcise ye every male among you, and circumcise your foreskin, and it shall be a sign of an eternal agreement or oath between me and you. So I'm just being reminded of something too that my Shah brought out, was that, circumcision is something that's done for males. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out here teaching that there's not really this distinction between males and females in Yashar'Al, in Yahuwah's creation. That's just absurd. It's like lunacy. it's very clearly a difference and a distinction. And it's not to say that one is better than the other. It's not that at all. It's just that they're different roles and they're meant to go together. And so, if you think about a son shall leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, and they shall become one. If they're the same, how is that giving you more of a completeness? It's not, right? So there's attributes that each role has that are complementarian, as they like to say, to the other, right? And for the well-being of the child to have both in their training, their upbringing, for that balance. So, and the child on the 8th day you shall circumcise every male throughout your generations, him that is born of the house, and whom you have bought with money from any stranger, whom ye have acquired, who is not of your seed. This would be like grafting in, right? He that is born in your house shall surely be circumcised. Of those whom you have bought with money shall be circumcised. Of my agreement shall be in your flesh for an eternal ordinance. Okay? And the uncircumcision who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin on the 8th day, that shall be cut off from his people, for he has broken my agreement. Okay? This is the part that I was saying is hard for some people, maybe a stumbling block for some people. We have a lot of other texts about circumcision, and there's even a little bit more coming right here to give this a broader context. So, don't close your mind right now to that, okay? Please. And Elohim said unto Abraham, as for Sarai, your Asha, her name shall no more be called Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. And I will Baruk her, and give you a son by her, and I will Baruk him, and he shall become a nation, and kings of nations shall proceed from him. And Abraham fell on his face and rejoiced, and said in his heart, shall a son be born to him that is 100 years old, and shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bring forth? And Abraham said unto Elohim, oh, that Yishmael might live before you. And so Elohim said, yea, and Sarah also shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Yitzhak. And I will establish my oath with him, an everlasting agreement, and for his seed after him. And as for Yishmael also have I heard you, and behold, I will Baruk him, and make him great, and multiply him exceeding. And he shall begat 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. All the favor that the Father promises to put upon Yishmael is based in Arat. You see that? There's an everlasting agreement that goes to Yitzhak that's separate from Yishmael. I titled this Children of the Promise. Okay? But not all the sons of Abraham to receive the same. I think we need to understand that. It's very important, yeah? But my oath will I establish with Yitzhak. So you could say, but I'm gonna marry myself. I'm gonna become one with, right? Yitzhak. I will Baruk Yishmael, I'll do all that. But it's a difference, okay? But my agreement, my oath, my marriage will I establish with Yitzhak, whom Sarah shall bear to you in these days, in the next year. And he left speaking with him, and Elohim went up from Abraham. And Abraham did according to Elohim, saying unto him, and he took Yishmael his son, and all that were born in the house, and whom he had brought with money, every male in his house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin. And on that selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and all of the males of his house, and all those whom he had bought with money from the children of the strangers also were circumcised. Okay? This thurah, just so you know, I'm saying thurah instead of Torah because of the letters that it's written in. And if you want to know more about that, check out my recent video. This is a call to the elders of Yashar'Al. Okay? This thurah is for all the generations forever, and there is no circumcision of the days, no omission of one day out of those 8 days, for it is an eternal ordinance, ordained and written on heavenly tablets. And everyone that is born, the flesh of whose foreskin is not circumcised on the 8th day, belonging to the children of the children of the oath which Yahuwah made with Abraham, but to the children of destruction. Nor is there moreover any sign on him that he is Yahuwah's, and he is destined to be destroyed and slain from the earth, and to be rooted out of the earth, for he has broken the agreement of Yahuwah Eloheinu. This is so interesting. Honey, are you in here? I want you to hear this part. This blows me away. Because there's been much mystery and seeking and understanding about the Malachim, about the fallen angels, about the Nephilim, about how they neither are they taken or given in marriage, and how all that works with that they produced seed with the daughters of Adam and all this. Listen to this. For all the angels of the presence and the angels of sanctification have been so created from the day of their creation. And before the angels of the presence and the angels of the sanctification, he has sanctified Yashar'Al, that they should be with him and with his Qadash angels. Is he saying that the angels are circumcised, y'all? And do you command the children of Yashar'Al, and let them observe the signs of the agreement for their generations as an eternal ordinance, that they will not be rooted out of the land. For the command is ordained for an agreement, that they shall observe it forever among the children of Yashar'Al. For Yishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, Yahuwah did not cause to approach unto him, and he chose them not, because they are the children of Abraham, because he knew them, but rather he chose Yashar'Al to be his people. And he sanctified it and gathered it from amongst all the children of Adam. For there are many nations and many peoples, and all are his. And over all he has placed Ruach Ha'Qadash, spirits, in authority, to lead them astray from him. The sovereign, most high Yahuwah has placed wicked spirits above those who are not Yashar'Al to be led away into confusion and like the veiling. But over Yashar'Al, he did not appoint any malak or ruach, for he alone is their ruler, and he will guard them and require them at the hand of his angels and his Ruach Ha'Qadash, and at the hand of all powers, in order that he may guard them and Baruk them, and that they may be his, and he may be theirs, from henceforth forevermore. And now I announce unto you that the children of Yashar'Al will not guard this ordinance, and they will not circumcise their sons according to all this thurah. For in the flesh of their circumcision they will omit the circumcision of their sons, and all of them, sons of Belial, will leave their sons uncircumcised as they were born, and there will be great wrath from Yahuwah against the children of Yashar'Al. So that's what I was trying to say. Don't get too freaked out right now about that, because they broke it immediately. It just like reminds me of when the Most High cut an agreement with Noah about the drinking of the blood, and this was also on Shabuot, and there was the rainbow and all that, a promise, right? Well, he then goes and tells Nuh, after you perish from the earth, your sons are going to break this agreement, and they're going to drink all kinds of blood, and they're going to go into all kinds of pagan days, and times will be dislodged and lost to them and everything. Like, this is an agreement that was made that was broken pretty much like right away, okay? And the Most High keeps coming back and renewing the agreement, right? That's why what they call New Testament, I agree that it's a Brit Chadashah, renewed agreement, okay? Anyway, it says there will be great wrath from Yahuwah against the children of Yashar'Al because they have forsaken his agreement and turned aside from his word and provoked and blasphemed, insomuch as they do not absorb the ordinances of this Torah. For they have treated their members like the other nations, so that they may be removed and rooted out of the land. And there will no more be pardon or forgiveness unto them, so that there shall be forgiveness and pardon for all the chata of this eternal order. All right, Baruk Yahuah. So that is the 5 chapters that we were doing. You know, and I always upload a clip of the Basura at the end of these on the YouTube channel, but right now I kind of feel like I should talk about it a little bit for those who are here, because I think a lot of people don't understand, because of God's spell, the gospel, they think that the great news is something that it's not, right? So, and even earlier when we were in Mitiyahu, I think chapter 11 through 13, there was a part there where Yahusha was basically saying, go back and tell Yehukanan the Immerser that the blind have received sight, that the deaf can hear, that the lame can walk, and all these promises that are to come for the lost sheep of Yashar'Al, right? And that the Most High is going to take Ephraim and he's going to take Yehuda and combine them back into one nation again, right? So understanding the way marriage works in Torah, and what is a certificate of divorcement, and how when the original husband perishes, that the ex-wife will become able to marry again. She's actually able to marry to another one with the certificate of divorcement, but she wouldn't be able to return back to the original husband. But if the original husband was able to lay down his own life and raise it back up again, then that certificate of divorcement between them no longer exists, so she would be able to marry him again. And so, you know, I understand that to be the Basura, is that there's a wedding supper at the end of the scripture, and that this Barukid promise is that, like, all of the northern tribes that were lost, that were cast out, that were given a certificate of divorcement, are going to be brought back into agreement and oath and marriage with the Most High, like all this Shabuot stuff continually is about. That he would be our husband and that we would be his people, we would be his bride. And that's what that is. And so I just want to encourage everyone out here to guard the commandments of the Most High, to really trust and believe in Yahusha, and just make sure that you work out with fear and trembling who Hamashiach really is. Because if you have another Hamashiach and you don't have the true Hamashiach, then you have a false deliverer. There is one who promised to be our deliverer, who doesn't give his esteem to anyone else. And if the Ruach reveals to you who he truly is, I believe that you're going to see it in the scriptures over and over, because that's what's been happening to Ma'asha and I. And we see the truth of Yahusha HaMashiach all over the place. For hours earlier today we did. And we do have a video on the YouTube channel that is called Ahaya Yahuah Yahusha. And I want to encourage you to check it out. It's actually several years old now, and most of it comes off of memory and maybe like going through a few Facebook posts. But evidences and proofs that Yahusha is the fulfillment of that promise that Yahuwah made to be our deliverer himself, that he took on flesh, that Emmanuel, which is Yahuwah with us, they say, right, is the truth. And it's interesting is when you have Ahaya, Achar, Ahaya, I am that I am, and you notice it has the Yah part in there. And then when you go to the name of the Most High, the Creator, it's Yah-U-Ah, which is like Yah adds breath, which is to say, I am the Creator, right? Yahusha, right? Yah adds deliverance. I am your Savior. I am your deliverer, I should say. And you see they're all Ahaya, Yahuah, Yahusha. Just like all these prophets come in the Most High's name, right? The Most High Yah. And Baruk Atah Yahuah. You're welcome. Yeah, please do email me. Yeah. And yeah, check it out. There's obviously it's like, oh yeah, well you're just saying that because you're your videos. I'm not just saying it because they're my videos. There's a lot of meat that's on that channel that I think will be profitable to you guys. And I really want to encourage you guys to check it out. It's just like the stuff with the calendar. Abba's giving me so much confirmations that the things that he's shown me, I'm not just crazy. They're legit things. No matter what day you esteem the Shabbat on. And it does matter, but I'm not trying to go there right now. I'm just saying. People who are on Saturday or people who are on, it changes every month, whatever. You still have no excuse to not esteem these new moon days. And, if you think that they're every single month, I can prove to you that you're wrong. And all we have to do is go to Jubilees chapter 6, and it clearly tells you that there's 4 parts of the year, and it clearly tells you that it's in months 1, 4, 7, and 10. And even just in the 5 chapters we looked at today, we had multiple places where it was the new moon of the 7th month and the new moon of the 4th month, and it just keeps on showing itself to be true. I'm going off script a little bit, so please bear with me. So let me just start. Jubilees chapter 6, verse 26. Listen. Listen in the Ru. I don't like to say the word B-A-D. Maya Shah can hopefully tell you why. And let me see. Is it true that the Shabbat is on Sunday starting next year? The Shabbat doesn't change. Only the pagan calendar changes. I believe the Shabbat day is today, which is the pagan day Wednesday. Right in the middle. Everyone's fighting over Saturday and Sunday, and you're both wrong. It's in the middle. Okay? And if you look at this, the Zadok calendar says it starts on the 4th day when the sun was created. Okay? So, and they say the Shabbat is on Saturday. Well, if you count back from Saturday, Friday, Thursday, right, you end up being on Wednesday. If you put the 3 days of creation back, because Yahuwah didn't start counting on the 4th day, he started counting on the 1st day. So now they're making him out to be a liar. I'm not going to do that. That's crazy. No way. Listen to this. And on the new moon of the 4th month, the mouths of the depths of the abyss were closed. And on the new moon of the 7th month, all the mouths of the abyss of the earth were opened, and the waters began to descend. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noach was joyful. And on this account, he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial forever, and thus they are ordained. And they placed them on heavenly tablets, that's sapphire stones in the Shemayim, the blue sky dome, okay? Each had 13 weeks from one to another past their memorial, from the first to the second, from the second to the third, from the third to the fourth. There are not 12 new moon days. There are 4. 1, 4, 7, 10. I'm telling you the truth. Please listen. And all the days of this commandment will be 2 and 50 weeks of days. That's 52 weeks in a year. Exactly. 6 days of work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7th day of rest. 52 of those. Start all over. That's the calendar. That's it. That's the calendar. Okay? But we also have these new moon days. They are Shabbats for us. Not just the 7th day, not just the fixed feast days, but also the new moon days, Baruk Yahuah. And there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year from year to year, and command you the children of Yashar'Al that they observe the years according to this reckoning, 364 days. This will constitute a complete year. And they will not disturb its time from its days, from its feast, for everything will fall out according to the testimony, and they will not leave out any days, nor disturb any feasts. But if they do neglect and do not observe them according to this commandment, then they will disturb all the seasons, and the years will be dislodged from their order. And they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislodged, and they will neglect the ordinances. And all the children of Yashar'Al will forget and not find the path of years. They'll forget the new moons, seasons, Shabbats. They'll go wrong as to the order of the years. For I know, and henceforth will I declare it unto you, that it is not of my own devising. For the Sefer lies written before me on the heavenly tablets. The divisions of the days is ordained, lest they forget the feasts of the agreement and walk according to the feasts of the other nations, after the errors of their ignorance. I go on and on, but I've done it. I've done it so many times, you guys, in the calendar playlist. Please go to the playlist calendars and watch it. Watch the 4 seasonal new moons video. Watch the new moon days video. The Father even showed me how through the vowel points, which he never gave us vowel points. Vowel points don't come from Yahuwah. And Aleph does not make an E sound. Okay, it makes an Ah sound like Abba. Right? Allahim. Okay? They took the same 3 Abrit letters. They add a vowel point here and a vowel point here. And then they just took one word and made 2 words because they put some extra little jots and tittles on there. Lying scribes. Yeah. Then once they have 2 words, they go, oh, this one is pronounced this way. And this one is pronounced this way. And this one means this. And this one means that. And now they just created a whole new word with a whole new definition that they could put in place of another word whenever they want. That's how they do it. That's what they did. Please hear me. I'm crying out. I've been crying out about this for a while now, you guys. I don't know if it's been 2 years. And the problem is that my people keep going back and being like, oh, well, who wrote this book and that book? And, what's the official story? Let's trust the officials now again, right? Let's go read the publications. What do they say it means? How do they say that it's pronounced? When do they say the Shabbat is? They don't have his Shabbat. They can't have it. It's a seal between him and his people. Deny HaMashiach and think you're going to be his people? No. So, do you know Revelation 2:9? Who knows Revelation 2:9? Revelation 2:9. What does it say? I know your works in tribulation and poverty, and I know the blasphemy of them which say that they are Yahudim and are not. Okay? That's one. What's the other one? 3:9. Behold, I make them of the synagogue of Shatan, which say that they are Yahudim and are not, but do lie. Not all of Yashar'Al is Yashar'Al. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody who has his name upon their lips is telling you the truth, family. There's a lot of deceivers out here. A lot. All right. So people are saying things, and I need to go back and read. Much love, Shalom, Baruk Atah Yahuah. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for joining us. Please email me, get a copy of the calendar, questions, prayer requests, praise reports. There's also the Qadashayam of Yasharal on Facebook you can join. There's a Qadashayam of Yasharal on YouTube that has a lot of information stored up on it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off of here now, I guess, unless anybody had a question for me. I'm sorry I get very passionate and very zealous, and it does consume me sometimes. But you know, time is so short, you guys. It is so short. You know, and I've been trying to stir up my people, Yashar'Al, into righteousness, into really casting off every false way, cleansing your camp, getting rid of everything that comes from these wicked Ruach Ha'Qadash, all the Hollywood movies, all the CDs, and all the stuff that comes from the music industry. It's nothing clean coming out of there. Oh, my baby has a question. I'm so joyful. I love you, honey. My honey asks amazing questions. If you're not following Discount Daylight, you should. Oh, you're welcome. It's my honor. May he continue to Baruk you and yours as well. And thank you for coming, and I hope to see you more. Baruk Yahuah. T-E-E-T. Oh, you're following her? Hallelujah, Damon. How you doing, Aki? Did you get rid of that ice cream? We're here to quicken one another. That's what we got to do, right? Stir one another up into righteousness. Iron sharpens iron. That's how this works. That's how this works. Tada, Ruach Atah Yahuah, for his night and with Akkad and Akkad. Thank you. Thank you. You still get it? Get rid of it, brother. Get rid of it. Why are we? Well, this is a whole other conversation, but you forgot your question. No forgetty. Remember. Really, because of the sugars, because of the toxins that it causes for our body, is the main reason why, right? And so I was trying to encourage people to consider. Now, this isn't. I'm not saying that it's scriptural. It's more of a personal testimony. But I've been on a carnivore-based diet since November of last year, and I've lost over 60 pounds, I want to say, and I feel actually a lot better overall, like mentally, physically, and it's been wonderful. It's interesting how the enemy is over here trying to convince people not to eat meat, right? But I also am concerned about the damage that they've been able to do to fruits and vegetables by way of GMOs, and also the pollution of the air and the water. And I know that the beasts of the field, for example, like the beef, is equipped to be a filter, and so I think it's for a reason. And I think that animal fat is one of the healthiest things that we could possibly consume, and that it's nutrient dense, and it's able to sustain us in times of great lacking. So yeah, that's why. But the conversation about the ice cream was more a personal one that I had with Damon, and so that's something I'm challenging him to do. But yeah, don't eat anything that the scripture calls unclean. That's first and foremost, right? We only eat the things that are clean. But also, I'm encouraging people to really be careful about anything and everything that comes from the grocery stores that's packaged by corporation and profit, because we can't trust. And then right now there's so much sabotage happening and infiltration happening, and the enemy is trying to make an attack against us in any way possible. So that's why we have to be very wise. Yeah, especially if you get it from the grocery store. That's right. If you were going to make it yourself, if you had the means to do that and you could have Qadash ingredients, that would be great. Yeah, and my Yashar'Al has been wrestling a lot with the toxicities and the sugars, and palal is another word for prey. We don't say prey because that's what say like an eagle does when it swoops down on a mouse. It preys upon it, right? And the wicked Ruach Ha'Qadash prey upon us. And so I think it's, there's a lot of ways that they make us speak things that are unclean that we shouldn't say. So I would encourage you to say palal, because that's the Abrit word. And so that's what I try to do in the Clean Lips, the 2-part series. If you go check it out, I think you did check it out, actually, Damon, right? Oh, thank you guys giving bracelets. I didn't got bracelets before. How do you say it again? Palal? Yeah, P-A-L-A-L. Palal. Thanks, Diane. I hope that people share it, and I hope that it baruchs a lot of people, because they cursed us with all kinds of names of devils, and there's power in our tongues, and they put a lot of unclean words in our Bibles and our babbles. Even when we talk about S-I-N, how many times does that word appear? Let's see. S-I-N, blue letter. I don't know how to find out how many times a word appears. And that's just the canon, right? Like, it says approximately 500 times right here. But it's in other translations too that are outside of the 66 books. That's a very high amount of times to be speaking the name of a demon. Yeah, you could do that. Study. That's right. Absolutely. Non-GMO. Yeah, see, even that product appeal. My brain might explode. Yeah, it's a lot. Being transformed by the renewing of our minds takes a lot of work, because we were born and raised in captivity, and we come out of such confusion. That's what Babel is. Confusion. Babylon. Yeah. They literally have turned those into their own books, full of their own mighty ones and all that. It's unreal. You want to have a conversation? Who are you? Did you just get here? I don't even recognize you. I would let people come up and have a conversation, but I would want to at least know you a little bit, mate. You know what I mean? What are you interested in? You're interested in what? If you're interested in all the things I'm saying, I would encourage you to go check out the videos that we got up. Let me see how many videos I got. How do you see how many videos are actually on the thing? I guess not counting the shorts. 330. And a lot of this stuff is really meat, like I mentioned earlier in this one about Malak Zadok, because they sell Melchizedek. Did you know that there's a secret society called the Order of Melchizedek? And guess what? It's not even called that in the scriptures. It's called Malak, which means king, and Sadak, which means righteousness, king of righteousness. That's what it really is. And just like meat sacrificed to idols, how many of you know what that is? I wondered for a while what that was. And I believe the Father has answered that for me. The whole thing, I have questions. I'm sure there's a lot of questions, right? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let you come up. Let me see if I can figure out how to do it. Okay. I'm clicking accept. Oh, wow. Why do I have so many boxes? So is your name Likey?
Yeah.
Okay, Likey. Welcome. Go ahead. What's your question?
What are you?
What'd you say?
Like, what are you? Like,
What
what's your
am I?
religion?
Religion? Oh, yeah. Well, so here's the thing. Hang on. I'm not trying to... if I drop you, I'll get you back up. I'm trying to fix how many boxes there are. That's way too many boxes.
No problem.
Let's try maybe like this. Okay. So I don't ascribe to any religion. In fact, I actually teach against all 501c3 religious institutions because I believe they're prisons for the hearts and minds of man. So I would say it's more like Natzarim, which is in the scriptures as the branches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yahusha, the Messiah, says, I no longer call you friends. You're like Natzarim, or the branches that are grafted into the true vine. Up here you see it says Qadashayam. This basically means my righteous peoples.
Qadashayam?
Qadashayam, yeah. It's Abrit. That's the true language of the Most High.
Do you believe that Jesus is the Messiah?
So the name that you just used, first of all, I'll tell you, you might not know, the letter J is only about 500 years old. You could look it up. It blew my mind when I found this out. And what we're really saying when we say that name, as crazy as it sounds, I know you're going to get shocked. Hail Zeus. Let me tell you. So,
Zeus as in the Greek god?
Yeah, as in a demon. That's what Zeus is, a demon. Okay, just like Pegasus is horse of Zeus. Dionysus is cup of Zeus. Okay, because you got to understand that the people who run this world, right? If you go to Psalm 2, and it says the kings of the earth conspire together to make war with the Most High Yahuah, his anointed Hamashiach, and us, his people, right? They worship Hashatan. Saturnalia, Saturn worship.
Yeah.
It's a lot. All the different gods of the pantheon represent the sons and daughters, or the sons and daughters of fallen angels, Nephal. Are you familiar with that?
Fallen angels?
Yeah. Fallen angels actually created offspring with the daughters of man.
No, I am not familiar with that.
Okay, well, if you go in Genesis 6:4, it says the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of Adam. All those who were fair, they were attracted to them, and they took for themselves wives, all whom they chose. And they produced this abomination called the Nephalim, Nephal, giants, mighty men of old, men of renown. And in the book of Hanuk, it talks a lot more about this. And so these wicked, what happened was, the judgment of Yahuwah came that these Nephal had to war against themselves. And the fallen angels had to watch their own children slay one another because they were causing all the people, the Adam, sons of Adam, to commit war. They taught us about weapons, metallurgy, about makeup, about a lot of things that we weren't supposed to know about. And they were causing much bloodshed on the earth. So Yahuwah's judgment was that because they were basically killing by the sword, they would have to die by the sword. And the fallen angels had to watch. But listen, after they were unalived, they became wandering spirits. Because remember, they're half angelic. So they're half flesh like you and me, and they're half angelic. So now they're disembodied spirits, wandering spirits. And when Yahusha encountered them, And they said, what will you have to do with us, son of man? Has our time come? And they asked him, cast us into those swines.
Yeah,
And they said,
I think that's a Bible verse.
I'm quoting scripture, yeah. And
Yeah.
they said, we are legion because we are many, which is also the name of a foreign mighty one, the Babylonian deity of fortune. But so now look at that word too, legion, religion, getting back into agreement with the demons that called themselves legion, that Yahusha put into swine, that basically suicided themselves over the edge of a cliff. But see, then they continued. It says in the scripture that there were giants in those days and afterwards, because the demons are here. There is not aliens from outer space. Those are wicked spirits, just like the ghosts that people have conversations with are tricky demons also, pretending
Like
to
the
be
Ouija
someone.
board?
Yeah, like that. Yep. And people are entering into agreement with these spirits. They're binding themselves to these spirits. They're calling upon the names. It says in Exodus 23:13, you shall not have the names of four mighty ones upon your lips. So we're dang sure not supposed to be praying in their name or palaling in their names. Right?
Interesting. See, I'm not a Christian.
Well, I would say that's great, because most people that are in that are kind of trapped. Most of us came out of that. Right?
Interesting.
Yeah, and the fact that you're not, to me, means that they're restricting my access. But the fact that you're saying you're not, to me, means that there may be more opportunity for you to receive these nuggets of truth. And based on what I know of the scriptures, is that anyone who does receive these truths is what would be called a lost sheep of Yahuwah.
Interesting. I'm a very religious person. I'm just not Christian.
Well, yeah. So I don't want to offend you at all. When people tell me that they're spiritual, I would say that the Nephilim are spiritual too. So,
Oh, no, I'm not. I have a religion. I just follow another religion.
oh, well, okay. What do you call it?
I'm Muslim.
Muslim.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in this study that we just did, we went over.
Do you believe in jinns?
Well, yeah, but let me just say, we went over who Yishmael is, right? Which would be a father to Arab nations. So that's just interesting to know that's a son of Abraham. And we talked about some of the promises that were made to his seed. But so jinn is just another name for demons. That's why are you a Trump supporter?
No.
Okay, well, when Trump, I made a video on this, when he said, I am a humble genius, he was actually saying, I'm a mighty demon by etymology, but what the words really mean. Because oh no, wait, did he say stable genius? Or did he say humble genius?
I don't know.
Well, either way, it's pretty interesting when he comes right out and says it. So the word genius or genie or jinn all has to go back to these wicked Ruach Ha'Qadash that I've been talking about. Demons, devils.
Interesting.
Yep.
So do you believe that because I was reading the other day that there's no way, like in today's technology, there's no way that we could have built the pyramids like humans. Do you think someone else helped them?
Well, they're a great example, but there are actually multiple great examples. So if you look at even the Capitol buildings, right? This huge stone structures that are really advanced that they claim were built at the time that we were all running around with horses and buggies. I actually believe that the Nephal are the ones who had a hand in their construction. That's what I believe. And I believe that at the time of the deluge or the flood, they remained standing mostly. And some of them even became partially covered in mud, like a giant mud flood kind of situation.
What do they look like, Nephals?
Well, they can appear different ways. A lot of people who might see them now would say they look like an exaggerated clown like an actual the Joker from Batman with these really exaggerated smiles and just contorted and twisted faces, also with the painting on the
Mm.
faces.
Wait,
But when they were in the flesh, they would have probably looked like giants. The scripture has a lot of information, and we've seen very gigantic bones unearthed and discovered and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And that's where that comes from, because they're half
Interesting.
angel and half flesh. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So, since you don't conform to a religion, do you believe in like the end of days and the Antichrist?
Yeah, so I would call it anti-Mashiach, because even the word Christ is just Krishna, which is a foreign mighty one again.
We,
Um,
yeah, I use the word Masih.
Mashiach.
That's what I, well, in our language, we say Masih, it means anointed in oil.
Oh, right. So that's very close. You see, a lot of the things that are in your language are going to be very close to what's in our ancient pure tongue as well, the language of creation. Because
Interesting.
all language came from one source. And at
Mm,
the time of the Tower of Babel, when the Most High scattered all these powerful entities, he confused all their languages. That's why they communicate in symbols. If you look, you'll see a lot of these powerful elitist, tyrannical rulers and different religious entities use the same symbols. The papacy has the same star of Remphan on the side of the hat that's on the they call as the Star of David on the flag for Judaism, say,
yeah,
right?
speaking of Judaism, have you heard of Kabbalah?
I'm familiar with that. Yeah, this is an area that we have to be more careful with because of the handlers who don't let us talk about different things. So
Mm-hmm.
I try
I
hard to
know.
censor my speech. I would just ask you to try to do the same, but I'm familiar
Oh,
with Kabbalah, and I'll tell you the source and the root goes back to fallen angel worship. That's what the ancient mystery religions are. Okay, and that's why there's all these worshiping of things made, worshiping of creation, sun, moon, stars. All
mm.
that goes back to fallen angel worship.
So who do you worship?
The Most High Yahuah.
So how come you say Yahuwah instead of Yeshua?
The word Yeshua is Yiddish, and the
I didn't know
letters are
that.
not a part of the original language. So if we go, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of backgrounds, but I was using one that had some of the letters. Let me just go back.
And there's like Elohim.
Yeah, but see, okay, here's the thing. So all the letters aren't here, but this first one, Aleph,
Aleph, that's an Arabic letter.
okay, and then there's a Lamed if it's on here. Let me see if I can get my face out of the way by flipping the camera around. Okay, so let's see. Do we see a Lamed? So it's probably off the camera, but um, the word Elohim is actually Aleph Lamed Aleph He Yod Mem. The Yiddish people
Mm.
who say that they are Yashar'Al but do lie change the pronunciation to Elohim. El is a
Oh.
Canaanite name for Baal. Baal is a foreign mighty one. So that's why they make people say things like Elohim, because then they're calling on the name of a demon and they're not
Yeah.
calling on the one true name, Elohim. So that's another great example of that. So that's another great example of that.
Interesting.
Yeah, right?
Mm. So, wait, what's the name again? How do you
The
pronounce it?
the name of the Most High?
Yahuwah?
Yeah, Yahuwah. So he gave us the letters for his name, right? Which is right up here. Let me flip my camera back around because I'm trying to point and you can't see me. Okay, right here. Yod
Mm.
He Uah He. Yahuah, which means I am the creator. I am he who adds breath.
Do you believe that Yahuwah sent his son to die for your sins?
I believe that the one who came to die for our transgressions came to wipe the slate clean for the children of the promise, Yashar'Al. that he is Yahuah in the flesh. And he comes in the name Yahuah, Yahusha, Yahuah. Yahusha means Yah adds deliverance, or I am your deliverer.
Interesting. This is very different. I've never heard of this stuff before.
Mm-hmm. Yup, Baruk Yahuah.
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 Interesting.
His name is, so the letters are actually all breath. A consonant, I'm sure you'll agree, is when you touch your tongue to your teeth or the roof of your mouth, T and all this. So the letters, Yahuah, Yahuah, it's all breath.
Interesting. And like the languages that you're familiar with, are they like Semitic languages?
So
Do
the
they?
word Semitic, right, is
Yeah.
another example of them changing the letters, because its name is actually Sham. He's the son of Noah,
Oh.
Nuke. So when they say anti-Semitic, they're trying to take the identity of the sons of Sham
Careful.
upon
themselves.
So who are the sons of Shem or Sham?
Right. Well, so everybody is lost and scattered, as I'm sure you can understand. It's over 6,000 years where people have been displaced, taken into
Sons of
captivity.
Shem. Are they Arab?
Not necessarily. But that's what I'm trying to explain, is that you can't just look at somebody and know who their father, go back all the way to know who is a son of Ham or Sham or Yaphath, right?
Okay.
But I will tell you that they made an agreement on how to divide up the land on the earth after the flood.
And you're talking about Noah?
Noah's sons made an agreement before Yahuah who would get what land. And they cast lots, right? And
Yeah.
so Yaphath got the land to the north where it's cold, and Ham got the land to the south where it's hot, and Sham got the choicest land in the middle where it's neither hot nor cold, where the Garden of Eden even was. And that's the modern day area of Yashar'Al, the Fertile Crescent.
Mm.
Yeah, so all the people were over there fighting over that land. The ironic part is that most of them aren't even the true descendants of Sham, because Sham and his descendants were cast out of the land. So there's some people who
Interesting.
are sons of Ashkenaz, who is a son of Yaphath, who
I
claimed rights to that land.
I thought Canaanites
Well,
were
hang on,
the
that's only half. Yeah, you're right. Canaanites are sons of Ham. See, they are not supposed to be there either.
and
Noah,
Samaritans?
Samaritans are a mix, but Nuh was a prophet when he said, Baruch be Sham and cursed be Canaan. Remember when they uncovered his nakedness in the scriptures? Do you know about that?
Yes. In heaven?
Huh?
No, we're taught, see, in my religion, we're taught that after they ate from the forbidden fruit, their clothes, they had to cover themselves up with leaves.
Yeah, that's true, but I'm talking about after the flood.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Adam and Eve. Sorry.
No, Noah. After the flood, Noah made a vineyard, and it says that he got drunk, and it says that that Ham uncovered his nakedness, and people don't know what that means. I don't want to go into that right now, but it doesn't mean he just looked at his naked body. There's more to it. But after Noah discovered what happened, he said, Baruch be Sham, because Sham covered his nakedness with, like it says, he went to him with his back to him and he covered him, right? And then he said, cursed be Canaan. But Canaan wasn't the one who uncovered his nakedness. It was Ham. But see, Noah was speaking a prophecy about a curse that was going to come to Canaan, because Canaan trespassed in the land that was supposed to be Sham's. And I believe that we have sons of Canaan and sons of Japheth or Ashkenaz who are fighting over the land right now. And there's going to be there's some sons of Shem mixed in everywhere.
I know that with Palestinian ancestry, I think that It says that their ancestors are Canaanites.
which would be Ham, sons of Ham.
And I know that when Abraham he had Ishmael and Isaac, Ishmael was for the Arabs, the lineage, from what I was told.
Yeah, I believe that there's a lot of truth in that.
And then
Obviously, there's
Isaac
mixing
was the
everywhere.
lineage for the Jews.
What is?
Isaac, he birthed the Jews, like that's their
Well, no.
lineage.
So be careful with that word, please, because it is like a red flag word. We have to be very.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Oh yeah. Because of censorship.
But it's not bad.
Well, it's not. It's not bad unless they feel that it is.
That's hypocritical, honestly.
There's a lot of hypocrisy in the world. So let me just back up and tell you that when you say Isaac,
Hmm.
you have an I in there. That's not part of the original language at all, right? The
How would
real
you say
name,
his name?
I'm going to say his name like how I say it, Yatzak. And Yatzak is the son of Abram, who is
Interesting.
of the promise, right?
Yeah.
Abram is a son of Sham, right?
Hmm.
Go back to Noah. So that means Yishmael and Yatzak are of the same son of Sham. They're cousins.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're cousins. And that some of the people who say that they're sons of Yatzak have also admitted already that they're sons of Ashkenaz, which is a son of Japheth.
Wait, is that why they're called Ashkenazi?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So sometimes people want to portray themselves as something they're not, and that's why the scriptures warn about that. And it tells us that we will know them by their fruits.
Do you believe that they're the promised people?
So I believe that Yashar'Al is the promised people. That's why this is called Qadashayam of Yasharal, my righteous peoples of Yashar'Al. But
Hmm.
not everyone who says they're Yashar'Al is Yashar'Al, especially those who deny Hamashiach.
I
Right?
don't, yeah, okay. Because they deny him. They think it's gonna be some,
Right.
I mean, I heard that they denied him because he was a spiritual reformer. They were looking for someone who was a king.
Right. But he is a king. So when they call Melchizedek means Malach Sadak, which means king of righteousness. So
Hmm.
the order, if you go to Abrim chapter 7 or Hebrews chapter 7, it tells you he's without mother, without father, without beginning, without ending,
So
the king
you
of
believe in
righteousness.
the virgin birth?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Because I was talking to someone said group a couple days ago and he called it ludicrous, like he was laughing at me.
Well, that's how mocking spirits are.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't get too surprised when I see mockers and scoffers denying the truth because there's no truth in them. That's what the scripture says.
Interesting. Yeah, they deny it completely. They don't think that the virgin birth, they think the guy was telling me it's ludicrous, it's ridiculous. I was confused.
Well, so the thing is, what it is a miracle, just like all of creation is a miracle, right?
Hmm.
So we shouldn't be surprised when the Most High does miracles and then writes about them via his
Because
prophets.
I believe in the virgin birth and the
Yeah.
Messiah.
Hallelujah. Well, that's believing in the truth.
Do you so do you believe that other religions also have truths within them?
I actually do believe that most of the religions have some truth. They
Hmm.
have a lot of leaven, which would be a little leaven spoils the whole lump. So even if you have a glass of pure water, but you add some falsehood, some strychnine to it, it's going to be
Hmm.
toxic, right? So the thing is, I don't encourage anyone to follow any of the religious leaders and institutions that are approved in this world because
Hmm.
they're subject to the prince of the power of the air, right? And this world
Interesting.
rewards its own. So if you're going to have a lot of followers and you're going to make a lot of money in this world, then you have to have false, right? You have to
Yeah.
have anything that is purely the truth. The enemy's going to be trying to shut that down, and That's
And
what
the
I.
enemy is like Satan,
It's Satan, and
Lucifer.
also 10% of the demons are loosed on the earth right now. 90% are bound, but they'll be loosed again. So when the scripture says,
So,
as in the days of Noah, so shall it be at the return of the Son of Man, that's when they're all going to be loosed, right?
and do these demons operate as humans or?
Well, that's what possession is. So wicked spirits are able to indwell vessels. It's a pretty intricate thing because some of them are willing and some of them are tricked, right? But there are very powerful people who willingly even raise up seed
Mhm.
to be instruments of darkness, and they are rewarded for it. And that's why the Babylonian deity of fortune and the Babylonian deity of fame are God and money.
And wait, so in your personal belief, do you believe that there's multiple gods but you worship one, or do
There's
you
only
believe that
one true. There's only one true Elohim, right?
okay.
But there are multiple of these other foreign mighty ones. They're not the Most High, who's King of all
Do you
kings.
believe that they're also gods?
No, they're not on the same level, but I'm saying they're foreign mighty ones, so they're high. Their estate is higher than that of just man.
Interesting.
There's a very ancient wisdom and evil on the face of the earth because remember I told you that these disembodied spirits have been wandering the earth. They're trapped here. They cannot escape, and they're going to face the judgment. And they're very jealous and very bitter and very angry about all of this,
Hmm.
right? But they're actually going to try to make war with the Most High at the last day, at Harmageddon, right?
And you believe in heaven and hell?
I believe in the Shemayim, which is heavens. But also, let me just tell you that we're not perishing from here and going to a place called heaven. The new Jerusalem is going to descend down from the Shemayim to the renewed earth, Ha'aratz. Okay? And so, also, when you say that word Hell, I don't like to use that word, but there is Sheol and there's a lake of fire. There's
I think it's
Gehenna.
called Gehenna.
Yeah, that's what I was just trying to say. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, we also use that word too. That
Hmm. Pretty crazy to find somebody coming born in Texas using the same language, huh?
yeah, you know a bit of Arabic.
What? Why are you looking at me like that? So that's why I'm telling you, they're all rooted in the same tongue. It's called the pure language, the language of creation. And at the time of confusion, there were many different languages created, right?
Yeah.
But you'll see truths that are there because the Arab people are sons of Ishmael, who's a son of
Hmm.
Abraham, who's a cousin to Sham. And the Most High told me that I am a son of Shamiyan, who's a son of Yatzak, who's a son of Abraham. So,
So where do European people come from, or like Mexican people or Hispanic people?
I mean, there's a lot to that, right? Because
Hmm.
um, everybody comes from Adam. And then at the time of the flood, there were 8 souls. So everyone comes from there. And
Hmm.
people have been scattered and displaced. They don't want us to understand or believe that our ancient ancestors knew how to make ships and travel around on seas very well. And
Yeah.
they did. And so, because Yashar'Al married into other nations, there are seeds of Yashar'Al that are scattered all over creation. And a lot of the things that happen with our pigmentation and all that have more to do with regional adaptations than just whatever they try to teach us about genetics, right?
Yeah.
The scripture tells us to not waste our time on endless genealogies that causes much division and strife. And a lot of these companies who take people's blood and then tell them who their fathers are not
You
to
know
be
what?
trusted.
I just did a 23andMe test.
Well, I would recommend to anyone listening to me not to do that.
And you know what it told me? And I laughed. So I'm Arab, but they told me that my ancestors were Vikings.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know where that. I
Well,
don't know.
I'm not trying to give credence to what they say, but here's the thing, like, is it really so hard to believe that some male could go to some other land and marry a woman there and
That's what
produce
they told me that happened because they said that the Vikings traded with Arabs.
all of the peoples of the earth has some kind of relationship with other lands, and whether it's through slavery or merchant ships
Hmm.
or even just relocating their family, going to another land to build a life for themselves somewhere else.
So why? So you don't like DNA companies?
No.
No.
No, there's the power of life in the blood, and I don't think that I should trust a corporation with that. I don't want someone else to have my DNA or any of that kind of thing.
You know, I
Definitely.
heard a conspiracy. I don't know if it's true, but they say when we get older, they'll try to bribe us with our younger spit. Be like, we can make you younger with your younger spit. I don't know if it's true though.
Yeah, I don't know about that at all.
Yeah, it's a
I know that
conspiracy.
it doesn't take much to say that um, we found your DNA at this crime scene.
Oh yeah, see, I'm done for when it comes to that. I already got my fingerprint in the system because you know when you get a job, you have to have your fingerprint.
Yeah. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming up, and I
Mm-hmm.
hope that I answered your questions.
Yes,
If you are interested, you can follow and look for us again. You could go. My YouTube channel is linked in my bio, and
of
there's a
course.
lot of videos about this topic, of all these topics, because they're all related. We're really just trying to establish what is truth from what is outright lies or a little bit of lies mixed in, just to find that true north, 100% truth. So thank you for coming up.
Of course. Thank
I
you for
was a
having
little
me on.
concerned, but there's no problem here. So you are welcome.
Yeah, bye bye.
All right. Shalom. Okay, guys, I've been on for quite a while now, so I am going to go ahead and jump off. Um, May the Father Baruk you and Ahaba to you all from my household to yours in the name of our deliverer, Yahusha HaMashiach. Shalom, family. Shalom. By the power and will of Yahweh, Yahusha, the Messiah, the one who we love him because he first loved us, right? Because while we were yet enemies at enmity with the Most High, he humbled himself. He took on flesh. He took on the role of a servant. He lived a perfect, righteous, or Qadash life. He willingly laid his life down. No one took it from him. He bore our iniquities on his body. He was impaled on a tree. He was in the tomb 3 days, and he rose again in power, in sovereignty, in majesty, in all esteem. All esteem Yahusha. Yahusha comes in the name of the Father Yahuah. Baruk is he who comes in the name of the Most High. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. You'll also find the email in the description of all YouTube videos. So send us a message, a praise report, a prayer request. Much love.